I'm Jason Galka. Good morning. It is Wednesday, May 13th, actually. You're probably watching this a week later, but that's okay. Two special co-hosts are joining me today on A Ship Called Relation. Robert Youngren, right? I said that correctly? And this is the hard one, Irina Babushkina. Babushkina. I was close. Film world, being in show business, you're on set for long periods of time. Okay, so you have friends, you have family, maybe you have significant others, right? How do you balance it all? How do you make time for everybody? Let's talk a little bit about the film first. Skid Row. It's a horror flick. If you love a horror film like I do, what's great for me is I actually like to cuddle up with John on the couch and watch a good horror movie because it kind of brings you close together and, you know, that cuddling moment. It's great. So, Rob, I'm going to start with you. Tell us about your character in the film.
I play Mayor Irwin, and at first you think he's a really good guy. You know, he's trying to catch the killer and, you know, keep things clean, and it turns out he's really not such a good guy. He's involved in crime, and he's kind of a real creep.
So it kind of has like a little twist to it in there. Okay. I saw the movie, by the way, so it's like I'm replaying it back in my head. Irina, you played the victim, one of the victims at first, without giving too much away, right?
Well, I'm a cop, and I'm the one who's following this drug trail, and this all these bodies are coming up, and I'm trying to figure out who's behind it. I do get tortured in the movie, so I am a victim for a little bit. But my main role is to try to figure out who's behind all these murders.
Wow. So, like, playing the victim's role, I mean, what was that like for you?
You know, it was that's probably the hardest thing to do, I think, is to act scared and, you know, of people that you're so cool with, you know, like you're joking around backstage and all of a sudden you're supposed to be, like, afraid of these people. To me, that was, you know, that was pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be tough, too, because like I said, you know, I've done some films as well. You're on set for long periods at a time. I mean, all day, sometimes into the nights. I mean, what's your relationship status, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm married.
Okay, so your hubby's at home and you're on set for long periods of time. I mean, what is it? Is it kind of like strain your marriage? I mean, what is it like?
Well, no, because he kind of accepts the fact that while I'm shooting a project, I'm not around a lot, you know, and I have, you know, but then once the project is done, then we have a lot of time together.
Right.
So it's kind of for a couple of months while I'm working, it's, you know, we don't get to see each other a lot. And, you know, I stayed out in Long Island a lot, and I wasn't, I live in Queens, so, you know, it's not a big truck, but, you know, if we're shooting all the way into the night and then back again in the morning.
Right.
So, you know, I didn't come home for a couple of days at a time, and, you know, you just kind of get through it. You kind of just, you know.
Right,
except the fact that it's not, and it's not like this is my life for the next 5 years. This is just, you know, a couple of months, and then you kind of go back to your life. And I haven't seen my friends during shooting the whole movie. I just didn't have time for them, you know. So it was just like everyone in the cast was my world. And then,
but you make new friends also. I mean, we're not trying to replace the older friends here, of course. But this is where I want to talk about, like, this balance. And, like, you know, what's great about having smartphones these days is that you can FaceTime, you can text, email, even if you want to, you know, go back to the dinosaur age, but but there's still ways to keep in contact. I mean, so not seeing your husband for long periods of time, is it true what they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder?
Yeah, it is.
So you can kind of
actually
like rekindle and regroup on your back.
It's good to miss him, you know, and it's good to have him miss me for
absolutely. And I think in new relationships, and you guys can chime in on this also, is that you spend so much time with the new person that you don't give yourself a chance to really miss them. A lot of people make that mistake. Right? What do you think?
That's true. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Robert?
I agree.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, do you have a significant home also?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, like, for you in your acting career, I mean, how do you balance both home life and your career life?
Well, I'm lucky. My girlfriend, she's also in the film. She has a small scene. She's very supportive. In fact, she's been like my biggest fan, trying to, you know, she's always rooting for me. So when I go away and do stuff, she knows it's pursuing a dream. So she's totally supportive about it.
Okay.
You know.
So what's great about her actually working on set with you is that you guys get to see each other more often, but
Right.
you don't always get casted in the same roles.
No, it was just she just had a small part in the film.
So does it kind of strain your relationship, especially not being married, not having that type of connection? Is it harder to keep a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, when you're away all the time doing films?
No, because it's like we're married. We've been living together for 15 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a long time.
So you're like the married couple.
Yeah, it's like a married couple.
So let's go back a little bit to when you first met. Robert, I'll start with you on this. And were you in films 15 years ago when you met your girlfriend?
No, I started like about 13 years ago.
Okay. So can you relate to what I was saying in the beginning? Like you meet somebody, you fall in love, and it's like they become your whole world. How did you balance and make sure that you still had time for friends and still had time for family?
That's tough because when you meet somebody new, all you want to do is spend time with them.
Exactly.
And you kind of push people off to the side. Filmmaking's like that too, because once you start doing films and you start doing one after another, you become so absorbed with it. When my dad passed away in 2005, I kind of just went head over heels into films. I was constantly shooting something, and it was basically therapy for me to deal with that, And my girlfriend at that time was like feeling a little neglected, like she was feeling I lean on other people more than her, and so that can happen. I guess you can get more involved with people and
Absolutely.
and kind of get your family into the back, not on purpose. It's
You just don't realize you're doing
because
it.
you're in such a bad place. You just kind of hang on to what you can, So
Right.
but overall, she's been supportive, and it's worked out great for me.
Wow. Excellent. Best of luck to you guys. Irina?
Yeah, it's hard to balance, but I think it's good when you bring them together. When you bring when you meet somebody and they become a big part of your life, you kind of bring him into what you're working. You bring him in with your friends, so you all kind of do things together, and
Right.
you kind of make it all where it's not, well, I need to spend time with this one and this one and this one. You kind of just bring everyone together and do things together.
Yeah, it's kind of like making a
family.
schedule to kind of fit everybody,
Yeah.
especially in this line of work. I mean, I do a
Yeah.
lot of corresponding work as well in the city, always covering events and things. And it's like, okay, I at least have to send a text to my friends, say, hey, what's up? Make sure that, we still have our BFF friendship going on. But it's really hard, I think, especially in this line of work, to maintain relationships.
Well, it is, but at the same time, it's, you go from gig to gig, and there's always downtime, and there's always, days you're not shooting, and there's time between gigs, and sometimes it's longer than you'd like, but but that's plenty of time to catch up and, everyone you've, neglected past couple of months.
Now, is your husband in show business also?
He is not at all. No.
So how does he feel about you being in business? I mean, he supports you, but
He's supportive-ish. He's supportive.
ish
I
in
think
there?
I think he'll be more supportive when I start making $10 million a movie. I think he'll be a lot more supportive then.
I think mine will be too. But. All right, guys, stick around. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to chat more about Skid Row and even show you the trailer. And we're also going to have answers to your questions coming up later in the show also. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to A Ship Called Relation. I'm Jason Galka. We're talking about balancing life today in our relationships. And little change of pace today. Two of my co-hosts are actually film actors. Okay, and they were recently in a film called Skid Row, which if you love a horror flick, you would love this film. Welcome back to you both. So let's talk a little bit more about the film now, because Irina, your character in the movie, you did play a cop, you played partial victim, but you also played a lesbian.
I was a lesbian.
Which must have been really interesting.
It was interesting. It's funny because we have a lesbian love scene in the movie, and the first time we were going to film was the first time I met her, and we were both kind of nervous because so. The girl takes me outside and she's like, I got some drinks for us. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, let's go. So we got a little drunk.
To loosen things up a little bit.
Yeah, to loosen things up, which I never drink on set, but she was like, come on. So we had a couple of drinks, so, it actually wasn't that bad. It ended up being, and I was so nervous about it. I couldn't sleep the night before. I was like, oh, this is going to be weird. It's going to be awkward.
That's interesting, though. What made you nervous about it? Because I feel like in those experiences, and I've known people, let's just talk a little bit about this. I've known women that have actually had experiences with women, but don't classify themselves as lesbian or bisexual. I think women are more open to experiences than men are.
I think all my friends have had experiences. And when I was telling my friends about the movie, they're like, well, you've never kissed a girl before? I'm like, no. And they were like, what? No, my first time.
But what was so nerve-wracking about it for
I
you?
think just love scenes in general are, because it's so like,
It's a very vulnerable state, I feel
is,
like.
and everyone's watching, and people are kind of like directing you, and then you just, it's.
It kind of takes away a little bit when you have a director shouting out, a little bit more to the right.
Exactly. That's what, the whole time. That's exactly what it was. It was just like, no, okay, you stand there. I want you there. You there. Exactly what it was. And then you don't want to look awkward because you feel awkward, and you're like, oh, but you gotta look natural, and you gotta look like you're, relaxed, but you're the same. You're so it's
right. I can understand.
Yeah.
Now, was that the first time ever playing in that type of
with a woman? Yeah, I've done love scenes before, but this is the first time with a woman, and I haven't met her before, so I didn't know what she was going to be like, and and it was, it's kind of scary because what if you don't like the person? Like, what if you just meet them and you just hate them?
Well, that's where those acting skills come into play,
where they
right?
come in,
Like, do or die now.
Yeah, and she was crazy. I loved her. I thought she was great.
Now, you were also involved in a very violent scene also, as you said. You were a victim. It was a little graphic. I mean, what was that experience like?
Yeah, that was, that was tough. I did get tortured, and it's, and you have to scream for like this long amount of time, because when they're filming, it's, it's cut down, and you have to scream and scream and scream and scream, and I think that was the hardest part. Is like after a while you're like, okay, I'm done. No, you're still scared. You're still screaming.
That's funny. Now, Robert, you're involved in a little bit of a gory scene also. You want to tell us a little bit about it without giving too much away?
Yeah, well...
As you grab your crotch there.
Yeah, it was a very uncomfortable... that scene, basically, we shot that at night. I was actually really sick when we shot that scene. And I sat taped to a chair for, 10 hours?
That's got to be... I don't know how
it was
feel about that.
10 hours stuck to a chair, and I was cut up, and I was brutalized, and, screaming and begging for my life, trying to make deals, and...
Wow. See,
no avail, nothing worked,
I love horror movies. I've always wanted to be a part of one, but it's like to be strapped down for that long. Because when you're on set, you're doing like 50, 75 takes. You're going to be there a long time, as you said. I don't know how it would feel. How did you get through that?
The
Put
director.
your mind in your happy place?
No, the director, he's telling, this is going to be it. This is great. And he's telling you, you're doing good. You're doing really good. You keep doing it, Robert. You're doing great. And then everybody's like, yeah, you're doing great. In the meantime, they're all happy they're not me. I'm sitting there fake blood, and I'm strapped to a chair.
I was happy it wasn't him.
Yeah, it was brutal, but it came out so good.
Mm-hmm.
It was so well done that it was worth it.
Very well executed. If anybody's seen the film,
and a lot of it, like piggybacking on what Robert said, it's good when you have a good director and the energy. When there's a lot of good energy, you can get through anything.
That's what it is. It's great chemistry.
I mean,
you two are here. You're both in the film together. Did you ever meet prior to this? Prior to doing the film?
No.
Nope, we never did, no.
Wow.
In the film, yeah.
It's our first film together. I think we're in 2 other ones, aren't we?
One other one.
One other one, yes.
And it's great that everybody has a chemistry that works together also. I mean, I guess it's true. You can make fast friends.
Oh, yeah. Frank, who plays my partner, my cop partner, we just met and we just clicked and and he is just such a great guy. And we were just I want to work with him in everything I do. He's a great guy. So that helps a lot when you like people you work with. So.
Especially if you're going to be on set all day long. Yeah, that's great. Well, we actually do have a clip of the trailer. Let's take a look at that right now.
Go get this thing. What's up, Kat? You tell me. I have a dead body over here. I have a piece of him over there. I got Amanda and Nick giving their statement to Officer Aldo. Why don't you guys give him a hand? Okie doke.
And enough about the war. Now we have a dead junkie found within, 5 miles from where we broke ground?
I'm investigating a skid row killer. Someone who kills hookers and junkies. I can't have a whore sitting my doorstep. That'll destroy my credibility.
So what do you see out there?
Rush hour traffic.
No. You know what's out there? Psychos, maniacs, cop killers, pedophiles.
If somebody's jumping off our people, it doesn't matter. You're already dead. You're a dead man walking.
There's a girl upstairs. She's with a cop.
Okay, as much as I don't like the guy, there's no evidence to suggest he was involved in my attack. Or that he's some kind of a homicidal maniac.
I mean, all types of crazy stuff. How much I love you. Moving in with you. Adopting kids.
And I hope to God that these murders are not connected.
I'm not bad, I'm the good guy.
goddamn vigilante here.
Did you guys get chills watching that trailer? What was it like to watch that?
I think it's, in a word, it's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense, and it's fair. It is. I think the trailer's great.
And it does have a very surprise twist ending. I mean, we were not going to give anything away, but it's not what you think. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Totally not what you think.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for being here today. Before
Thank
we
you.
close, we are going to get to your questions now. I have them right here, ready to go. And if you like, we can all discuss what you guys think based on your experiences in relationships. This is from Susie, and she writes, "Hi there. Just wondering what advice you would give me in relation to an ex-boyfriend. I ended things because he never seemed interested, but now that we've ended, he takes the time out to text me, etc., things that he never did before. Could you tell me why this is and what I should do? Thank you." Signed, Susie. We ever had a situation like that?
I have.
What did you do? How did you handle it?
Well, I actually gave the guy a second chance and I went right back to the way it was, because I found when people don't have you anymore, they want you more. And then when they have you, it's back to the,
Right.
I mean, that was just my experience. I think, everyone's different.
Yeah.
Being on the other side of that, okay, when I was going, my fiance I'm living with now, we had broken up for a short period of time, and it was like, that was rough. I mean, I thought she was gonna, I kind of like not that nice to her sometimes, and
Right.
she would say, "You don't talk to me right," and and I'd be like, "Yeah," and then she left, packed up all stuff. I freaked out. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I did what I texted and I was calling, and then after a weekend, she came back over to pick up some stuff, and I was like, don't you think we could talk it out? Well, it's not really. I'll change. If I don't change, you can leave again. So she came back, and it's been 15 years. So
Wow. So you made the change.
Yeah, I made the change.
Now let me just pick on you a little bit. Why
Sure.
would you not do those things prior to that? Like, why did it take her packing up and leaving for you to realize?
Because I think when you take people for granted, you get used to someone being there, and you think they're so into you because she was really into me. I was like, wow, someone's really into me. Wow, this is great. And then so what? She's into me.
But you have to reciprocate.
But then, if you talk to somebody,
Men.
yeah,
You'll never change them.
Never change them.
we are what we are. What can you do? But she keeps me in line. So
Good.
But,
Well, hey, it all worked out in the end. But, sometimes it does take that lesson to be learned to do it. But to answer her question, exactly that. He's just missing you. So it's up to you if you really want to take the time out to work it out with him. What I always suggest to people is, have a discussion, get all your feelings out there, really have to clear the air. I mean, as generic as it sounds, it works. You're not going to get points across unless you express them, and see where it goes from there. But definitely stay in touch. We have time for one more, right? This one is written by Chanel. She writes, "My boyfriend and I have been together for a year and 3 months. He always asks me to do what I want him to do to regain my trust with him. I love him so much, but he's lied to me in the past, and it's been hard to let go. I do understand where you're coming from, because she did write to me prior. Her issue is here that her boyfriend has lied to her in the past, has even cheated on her. Now she wants to try to reconcile with him, and he wants to regain her trust. Now, my opinion in that, once a cheater, always a cheater. The guys in the back are going like this, thumbs down. Even the guys are saying, dump him. And that's rare. But really, it's one of those things that you have to really examine the whole picture. He's lied to you, he's cheated on you. Once a cheater, always a cheater, I think. And also, if you want to regain somebody's trust, be trustworthy. Right? What do you guys think?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm big on second chances.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, I don't know. I mean, but you'd have to really be willing to trust him, because if you can't trust him, then the relationship is never going to work.
Yeah. And plus, trust your women's intuition, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you've ever been cheated on, which I have been, it's always there.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're out, when you have a bad fight, it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when? And it's
Yes.
and then it's like, you don't trust me, and I don't. And then,
Right.
then that relationship didn't work.
Exactly.
It was
Yeah.
I couldn't trust her, And,
Yeah, if you can't let go completely.
and she wanted to come
huh?
back, and she said, "Oh, so I'm so sorry." But I
It's-
couldn't trust her,
No.
and after a time, the relationship changed. it wasn't the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, for me, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And there's no relationship if there's no trust. And, you know,
Absolutely.
why should you
Can't.
sit home wondering, you know, what is she doing? What is he doing? Who's she talking to? Is she deleting messages out of their phone? So it's not a good situation at all. I would just move on. So, guys, thank you so much. Be sure to check out Rob and Irina in Skid Row if you get a chance. Grab your signif. It's scary. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
We'll see you
you.
next time. I'm Jason Galka.